Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 72 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Geoff. Welcome. Thank you for coming in on this holiday day and this holiday season. If you're watching us live on Twitch, true dedication, true friendship. And why are we doing this live on Christmas? Because, well, one, Max and I would talk to each other at some point anyway. But also, as we said here, one fan at a time, one friend at a time. And this is something we look forward to each week. And it's also something we like sharing with you guys and talking. So if you're here, thank you. But if you're watching us on YouTube or listening us to audio later, you're still cool. We're still cool.
It's also for our Jewish fans who may not celebrate Christmas. This is just another Saturday to them.
Or our atheist friends.
Yeah, and we want to be there for those people who may not celebrate Christmas, despite the fact that Geoff is dressed like a Christmas tree.
I'm not dressed like a Christmas tree. In fact, first of all, I want to say happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy nothing to my atheist friends. This is the episode 72, Christmas holiday Festivus special. Hey, there we go. What's up, Lucha? It's going to be fun. It's going to be different. We're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to be laid back. And we're going to give out the Nonsensie Awards, which is awesome. We got 10 of those we'll give out throughout the night. As well as talk over 2022 Wrestling Jeebus. Hey, buddy, welcome back. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and all that jazz. It's good to see you back, buddy. Hope you're doing well. With that being said, he is the Walter Hobbs to my buddy the Elf. He is the Scrooge to my Tiny Tim. It's Max, everybody. What's going on, Max?
I'm okay with that. I've never seen them. I've only seen the movie Elf like one time, and I haven't even seen the whole thing. So I have no clue who that reference was to, but I get the Scrooge one.
Walter Hobbs is the father.
Oh, okay.
Of Buddy,
okay.
But also you have the worst taste in movies. Still,
I disagree with that. I'll
give you a nonsensie for that.
I think I have amazing taste in movies.
Oh my life! All right. Well, with the nonsensies, as you guys know, we our group here, our TNAIW team, voted on this, and you'll get to see some of them pop up. 3 to be exact. A couple videos not working, unfortunately, before it went live. So we'll put those all on Twitter though throughout the week, so you could see those Sunday, Monday, and so on. But we try not to spoil, because I know you guys are on the edge of your seats, wondering who won Santa's Little Helper of the Year. Like that, it's a prestigious title. Oh man. But let's get right into that. Let's announce our first one. Let's start with some fun here. Let's go with the Rookie of the Year. Let's announce the Impact Rookie of the Year. Does not mean they are a rookie in wrestling. It means they are a rookie to Impact. A very close one. But the winner, Steve Macklin. Steve Macklin, Rookie of the Year, as voted by well-deserved. Morrissey was second place.
Now, here's my question. Where was Kenny Omega on that in the voting? The man was our champion, and he was a rookie in Impact, and probably didn't crack the top 3.
I don't think anyone mentioned
the
it.
straight
Maybe you did.
Disrespect for Kenny Omega through all these awards, I would like to point out, is just pathetic.
Well, with that being said, we do not have a power rankings this week. As you saw on Thursday, if you watched, it was a year of special. So this is our year of special, where we get to talk about exciting things like Hard to Kill, because that's right around the corner, literally. The awesome news with Gresham going there. The touring schedule, which is also awesome news. Jonah, which is not awesome news. And then our 2022 preview. It's not a funny segment. We're actually we got some things that we're predicting that may or may not happen, and we'll discuss. So let's get right into it. But we do not have power rankings, is what I was saying. But we do have a video from Datia for this one, as she announces the Grinches of the year. So let's hear that. We'll be right back.
Hi there, this is Datia with Rangers of Wrestling, presenting you the TNAIW Nonsensie Award for Heel of the Year. And the award goes to Impact World Champion Moose and the current Reina de Reinas champion Diana Purrazzo.
So yes, you heard it there first. The winners, it was a tie. There was no, it literally was down the middle. We could not decide everyone, and there was a big group. Should have probably had an odd number of people on this team, but Deanna and Moose, both well deserved Grinches of the year.
You know, sometimes in certain cases, I feel like if you get that far and it's still a tie, it's good to have a tie. It's kind of crappy when it's like, hey, we got one
Yeah,
vote separated. Like that's, at that point it's both people deserved it.
yeah. Like the first one was 80-20 with Morrissey. This one was literally
Yeah.
50-50. So. Right there, Deanna and Moose, I agree with that. While we're on it, let's announce one more since we announced the Grinch of the year. Let's announce the Santa's Little Helper of the year. This is the face of the year. Who could it be? Drumroll. Santa's Little Helper, the franchise.
I agree
Eddie
with that.
Edwards. I agree. Eddie, we will make sure we tag everyone actually with these and put them out with the videos and such as well. But we have two more videos that are actually working. Like I said, it'll be Nixon from the Talking Bloody Nonsense show, which is awesome, as well as Lucha, who's in the chat room right now. With that being said, let's get into Hard to Kill and Gresham and talk about that. Let's talk about the actual lineup of the show, as well as the news that Gresham has is not only coming to Impact, at least for a night, he's defending the ROH World Title against Chris Sabin. So not only do we have another banger already on that pay-per-view card, but it's for the ROH World Title. You know, we've been talking about the ROH potential or what we thought it would be, and it seems to be what you more so said. The thing defended everywhere. But let's get more on that. I'll pull up the card while you do so. Let's talk about Gresham and Hard to Kill first, or Gresham first, and we'll roll on.
So I'm really excited that he's defending it on Impact. I don't know if this means he's coming to Impact or if it was just kind of a, hey, this, like we talked about, we're just going to defend it everywhere, and this makes sense as a match for him. I really do hope that he ends up coming to Impact because I think he would be a huge get for Impact and would be an instant like star power that we need, but not someone who is the super expensive star power like a Jeff Hardy. Like he kind of runs along the line of the people Impact get. So I think it would be great. I think him versus Chris Sabin. I mean, looking at this card, it's going to be one of those cards where I'm a little concerned that by the end you might get burnt out.
Right.
Like that's kind of my only concern for it because a lot of the matches are going to be really good and are just going to be like, I think a lot of them are good. I mean, I think there's maybe one or two that might be a slowdown, but a lot of these matches are going to be really, really good and really like crowd intensive.
Right.
So overall, I think it's a good card. I'll let you talk about Gresham a little bit more, and then we can go kind of match by match on what we're thinking.
Yeah, I agree. As far as how we laid this down, I agree with you completely. Looking at the card 1 through, I think, officially 8 now is what I got here. Where do you find the weak spot? Now, the only issue I have is I think if we really looked at it, we could probably find a couple weaker spots. Doesn't mean they're weak, but weaker spots. And I don't like how that makes us look at those matches. I don't want a bathroom break, but I don't think there's one here. But you got to make it somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think they're bathroom break matches, but I think they'll be slower paced matches. And slower paced matches can still be really good matches. But you can't have 15 X Division high flying super energy matches because by the end you're going to be drained. So if I'm looking at the two matches I think could be slower paced, the Inspiration versus the Influence I think could be much more story driven and kind of slow things down. And then that 10-man match is going to be one that I think can be a slowdown. Still possibly very good matches, but definitely I think those will be your slowdowns. But I mean, everything else is going to be crazy. I I think this will probably be one of the few times they don't start with X Division. I think it'll be the Ultimate X match for the women to start, just because of the contraption they have to have on the side.
Yeah.
That's usually kind of what they start with, so they can get rid of that. But that's going to be like huge pops throughout the X, like, and everything, like everything. It's just going to be it's a really good card, top to bottom.
I mean, yeah, I'll read the card off right quick. But this is going to be in Texas, so no matter what happens, in the world, it's going to happen. The show is, for all intents and purposes, there's going to be a crowd. I don't know how big yet. I don't know what the ticket sales are, but they're doing a lot to get people in the door, including I think Mickey and Moose are there doing promotion and giving away 20 for I don't know, some crazy shit. But yes, the crowd is going to be another thing. Is this crowd going to be the crowd that's Impact? Are they there for Impact, or are they there because they like wrestling and they're going to make believe they don't like Impact, but we're there? So I think we're not going to have that much of a problem in Texas, which is a pretty respectful group when it comes to the wrestling community, it feels like. Maybe I'm wrong, but at least my experiences. But yeah, we have Mickie James versus Deonna Purrazzo in a Texas death match. Moose defending against Matt Cardona and Morrissey. And from the looks of it, it looks like they're going to put Mickie James versus Deonna as the main event here, which is interesting in its own right. We have the Ultimate X, Josh Alexander versus Jonah, that 10-man hardcore war. We have the Inspiration versus the Influence, Trey Miguel defending against Steve Macklin, and Jonathan Gresham defending against Chris Sabin. So, I mean, those top bottom 8 matches. Maybe they'll add one more for storyline.
I think you'll probably maybe one pre-show match.
That as well. That's a good point. But they've really worked a lot of people in there. I could see Ultimate X going first. Makes sense. At the same time, when you have a hardcore 10-man war and they're going all over the ring, or probably outside the ring into the car, what backstage. Is that something that will? No, I doubt something's pre-taped. I'm just trying to think of a logistics here of maybe doing it somewhere else, like setting up after the hardcore.
They call it a hardcore war. I think it's gonna stay in the general. Like, I mean, I think it may go up into the onto the ramp and stuff. Yeah. You may get two guys who go back there, but I don't think you're gonna follow anyone back there. You may just have two guys disappear in the back and just hang out and drink hot chocolate for a little while before they come back out. But
hey, the hot chocolate's involved.
But
let it be.
In regard to the crowd, I don't think if you're going to Impact, maybe if you're going to a general taping to where you're like, oh, it's $5, $15, let me go to just do this. I don't really like Impact. If you're going to a pay-per-view, you like Impact. Even when we were at Slammiversary, there was that one dude who wore the AEW shirt and cheered for Kenny Omega. Outside of that, throughout the entire rest of the show, he cheered like a normal fan. It was just when Kenny Omega came out that he backed Kenny Omega. So there's nothing like that here. Maybe you get some ROH people but Gresham is going to be.
I don't mean in that way. There's some that go to the show still. Not saying screw Impact, but are there, but are just sitting there on their phone.
Yeah, I don't see much of that at pay-per-views, though. I think that's fair. Wise when you get, this is my. Well, not only that, this is the 6th hour I've been here. And now I'm just exhausted.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, but it's a great show, top to bottom. I know we'll have one more, obviously, and definitely a preview show prior, so we don't have to get into everything. But what are you taking? Let's take out the Ultimate X. What are you looking forward to the most? Is it this Gresham thing?
No. That's probably number 2, but I think Josh Alexander versus Jonah is going to bring, that's going to steal the show. Like, Josh Alexander, automatically, any match. If he wrestled me, I think there's a strong possibility that we would be the best match on any pay-per-view we were on. And that would just be him carrying my ass through the whole thing. Him and Jonah can both go, and I think that match is going to be phenomenal.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be if the 10-man war is not after that match. Impact, come on, man, you gotta do it. They'll do it. They'll do right by it. Um, but yeah, it looks like an awesome pay-per-view. I'm really stoked for you. Deanna versus Mickey for me. For in the chat here, Lucha says that. Yeah, if that does main event and it is a Texas death match and they go as hard as I think they can, I think it'll be something. Something I'm looking at closely is Deanna and Ray Walt have been together more. They've been showing him signings, doing this. When right after he debuted, he was kind of splattered in there, doing his own thing a little bit. I think her group's going to grow. So I would not be surprised at all if Deanna wins here. But does that mean a debut comes? Does her group grow? Do we see a debuting, Masha or something like that? So I think that's going to have a lot of different storylines going into it on top of the match. That's just it's going to make for a good match. But for me, besides Ultimate X, obviously, Josh and Jonah is obviously is going to be a banger. We'll get to does it take away from that? And it was actually a comment. I don't know if it was who it was. I apologize, but they did mention that Jonah wasn't signed, and was this a wasted match / angle? We'll talk about that for. But I'm gonna say, let me pull it up again. Say, you know what? I want to give love to Steve Macklin and Trey. I know it's a kind of a drawn out and a little bit under the card kind of X Division title match. But we're elite, for both guys could go. First of all, different styles completely, which I think is which I dig. Excuse me. But I don't know if you remember, there was this spot in the Triple Threat with El Fantasma with them, but it was Trey was hanging over the ropes or outside or hanging upside down, and Macklin speared him through it onto the floor, and it was like this holy shit moment. As long as we get that in that match is gonna carry. So I think that's something we shouldn't look over or pass to the side. But
I mean, I definitely think that match is gonna be really good. I mean,
it's hard to pick.
Well, so here's the thing. I mean, it's been a while since I've had an X Division title match where I was like, man, that thing wasn't amazing. Like,
that's fair. It's the norm.
They're always good, and so it's. I mean, looking at this really realistically, outside of the 10-man hardcore war, which I think is going to be kind of I don't want to say a bathroom break, but just kind of a slower match, and the Knockouts tag team match, which once again I think is going to be a slower match for the purpose of kind of getting people to kind of lower. All these other matches are going to be awesome matches.
Yeah. I just don't want to take away from that Knockouts tag, because at the end of the day, I think that division is doing the right thing. They're building teams, but the dynamic between the two is a more comedic story.
Well, yeah, and it's going to be a good match. Don't get me wrong, but I think they'll do more storyline, comedic. They may come out and you may see a promo before the match, so I don't think it's going to be like a high intensity, bang, 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 bang type of match. I think it's going to be a slower match. Still, I think it's going to be very good, because the Inspiration to me have shown that I think they were good in WWE, and I think they're equally as good, if not better now. So
I agree. Obviously there's stuff they're going to have to figure out. Creative freedom is a double-edged sword sometimes. You get it, you run with it, and then you go too far, and you're like, oh, okay. Let me come back a little.
Yeah.
They got to figure that out. They got to figure out what works for them, what works for the Impact, what works for Impact's budget, and what they can do and what looks good. But they're creative, and it's been fun so far, and they give a different spotlight to the product when they're out there.
Yeah.
They really do. So yeah, everything there is going to be fun. I just I don't want to fall on the wayside with the Knockouts tags there. All right, let's get into let's keep going here. Let's actually skip this around if you're okay, Max.
Yeah.
Let's go with Jonah next, because obviously we just talked about the match. We're both super excited about it. I think the fan base is. I think people who aren't in the fan base are. Not what do you expect from this match, but because the news of Jonah being signed short term, does that change your opinion? One, was it a waste? Having that beatdown of Josh. And two, does this guarantee a Josh win? Is it predictable now?
I don't think so. For a couple reasons. One, unless Jonah's signing with AEW, he can still show up on Impact. If he's on New Japan, he can if he's signed anywhere else, he can still be here. But two, Morrissey wasn't signed long term either. Like recently,
Sure.
we're like, oh, Morrissey's contract's up, okay, and I don't know if he signed a long term contract. I don't know if he's just working date by like, but he's in a main event, so I don't think Impact is scared of building a storyline here. And then if he signs someplace else, just being like, hey, you can still work here and we'll still put you in storylines. So I really feel like it doesn't take anything away. I think Josh will win just because I would like to see him win, but I mean, if he doesn't, I mean, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Josh Alexander's winning because Jonah isn't signed.
Right.
Like imagine if Jonah wins and then leaves, and now Josh has to fight to get this another shot at him. Like
But
I can't just automatically like redeem my loss. I now have to go do other things, and then you can set up for later on when Jonah comes back and runs another program here.
so the way you're describing it is more of and I want to use a different company's reference, but I think everyone understands the Cena Rock thing. Uh, Kind of came in. He's not a full time player. Comes in. Everyone knows who he is. Boom. They have a match. One wins or one loses. They go away. They come back maybe. At
Yeah.
a certain time. And I like that. But as far as when you don't know if he'll come back, because there's a lot of course there's gonna be a lot of interviews he does where that's what they ask. Oh, AEW anytime soon? It is what it is. Um, but do you think that makes it look worse for our talent? I'll tell you my answer in a sec, but I want to know what your answer is. Does that make Josh look worse? That this guy from that's not signed to us came in, destroyed Josh, and then beat him in a match when they finally faced face to face.
I don't think so because Impact is so willing to work with other companies. I don't think it makes it look bad. Finjuice came in and beat the Good Brothers and were our champions. We've had Kenny Omega come in and hold our title. So Impact is willing to do this stuff for like storyline effect and long-term storytelling. So I don't think it does because just like if Gresham beats Chris Sabin, well, it's not for our title, but it's all about long-term storytelling. I think that no matter who wins this, I don't think this is the end of their story. And
Right.
that's why I don't think Josh Alexander losing is necessarily a bad thing.
I agree with you. Kind of slightly different, but generally the same. The way I look at it was the destruction of Josh wasn't so much about the push of Jonah. It was the introduction of Jonah and what he represents. He's a movable object, destructible
Yeah.
force, whatever, top dog. If he doesn't come in, and this is what I think this is more about. This is about Josh's long-term storytelling. Because look, he just got screwed over in front of his kids, or and his wife, right? After he wins the title, he loses it to Moose. He's angry. We said it. That's the only way he works is angry Josh. No one wants a happy, oh, I love my family, go out and beat everyone face. It just doesn't work. So how do you get him out of that where he doesn't go straight for his second title shot? His rematch. How do you
Yeah.
get him how do you get him sidetracked and distracted enough? It's all about Josh. Cuz now he's pissed off. He can only be pissed off at Moose for so long if he got his title shot right away. Okay? There's something more to play here. And I think when Josh finally gets his rematch, he will win. He will win that title. I'm not talking about Jonah. Maybe. Yes, he does. Maybe he does. But the storytelling is for how Josh gets from getting screwed over for the title to how he wins it. And the way it's setting it up on TV and the people that seem to be coming to this company, I honestly think Scott D'Amore helps him in a Team Canada's form. He's wearing there's just too much. I know I've been preaching that forever, but the way they're talking about how he's family and we're Canadian, have the best professional wrestlers, all this shit, it's got to go somewhere. Um, and I don't, regardless if it does, it did what it needed to do for Josh. which was get him from happy, well, I'm working my way up and going to do this for my family. I broke my neck. Great story. I love Josh. But do you want to see that each week be the no? And this is what. So Jonah served his purpose already. To me.
Yeah. No, and I definitely agree that and we talked about it when Josh Alexander lost to Moose. The climb for Josh Alexander to get that title shot to Moose was his storyline. And I mean, we had talked about possibly like a year down the
to Christian.
When I'm talking about like now, after
sure,
he lost
sure,
to
sure.
Moose, his next storyline was the climb back up to avenge his loss because he never got a chance to really be champion. He lost so quick. So, and we were talking about possibly like a year down the road, but if Josh is just winning and ripping through people, how do you keep him away from Moose? And Jonah is a perfect example. Him losing to Jonah, or like there has to be other storylines for him to do, or that take up his time that don't make you think, why is this dude not like? It can't be like professional boxing where you have the number 1 and the number 2 guy and they're just avoiding each other, and you're like, why are these guys not fighting? Like, if you get to that point, it gets old and boring. So I think this is a great way to kind of push him down the line or kind of take him out of the title picture so that you can then build him back up to it.
Yeah, I think the judgment's still going to be out there, and I think it's going to be, in the eye of the beholder. Because to me, if Josh even loses at Hard to Kill, I'm not upset because it's doing more for Josh than it's doing for Jonah. I just don't think it's like I think they could have anyone, Hornswoggle, and I hate to use that, but it doesn't matter. Anyone come in here with somewhat of a history in wrestling and play that part.
It's funny though, because wrestling fans talk about, we want long-term storytelling, long-term booking. But when that stuff actually starts to happen, they get upset. Like, I mean, obviously we talk about other companies, but AEW just did a really good one with Hangman and his, I think, like 2.5 year-long storyline with Kenny Omega. And already people are like, all right, let's go ahead and give Daniel Bryan the title. Like, or Bryan Danielson. It's like, guys, like, you want long-term storytelling, like, let things go and don't, okay, this is over, don't on to the next thing. So
it's everyone wants what they want until they can't have it, and then they want it till they have it. Just
well, you want something new and fresh, so you got to see that story, like, okay, let's get to the next one. So
because we live in headlines, we live in moments, we live right now, we live on, can I tweet about who just won the championship? I don't give a shit. I rather just enjoy the product, but tweets are up.
That's, if you look at WWE and how they run as a company, everything they do is YouTube moments.
Yeah.
They don't care about how good the match is. They want to be able to take moments and put it on YouTube, put it on Twitter. And because they know that that's what gathers people's, that's what makes the money. That's what gets people's attention.
It's a shame. No. I'm happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas if you celebrate that. Happy nothing if you don't. Merry Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa. I don't know. Whatever you celebrate, we love you. All right. Sorry to our audio listeners. There's the DO does our power rankings. We just announced the Grinches of the year. The duo of Moose and Deanna was right down the middle voting. We'll use that as a transition. And right when we get back after this video, we'll reveal a couple more Nonsensie Awards, get into the really awesome touring schedule that was released way ahead of time. I want to hear, where's my fans that complain about ticket sales going on, or ticket announcements going on 30 days before the show. So I'm excited about that. We'll get into that, and then we'll preview 2022. But first, let's kick it over to our buddy Nixon, who is one half of the team, the newly anointed Talking Bloody Nonsense show that airs every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern or 9 p.m. BST. Give them a watch. It's an awesome show, and our homie Craig's on there. Love you, Craig. See you soon. So let's get into that, and I believe Nixon will be announcing the backstage segment of the year.
Hi there, this is Dadia.
Hi there, TNAIW channel. It's Peter Nixon from Talking Bloody Nonsense, and I'm here to present the Segment of the Year award for this year's Nonsenses. There was some great nominees. You had Locker Room Talk, All About Me, Wrestle House, but there was one clear winner. This year's Nonsensie for segment of the year was the Swingers Palace. Yeah! Alright, Daddy, another slammy for the swingmen. Oh yeah!
Oh man, Buddy Nix, there you go. This is Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color? Nix and I love that. So backstage of this segment of the year, as just announced, Swingers Palace. I mean, how can you not? I mean, there are so many good ones for Wrestle House. You name them. Impact is known for doing them, but Swingers Palace is definitely a winner here. So Swinger Palace got the win there. Let's see what else. Let's rip a couple more off. Max, which do you have any in mind that you remember voting for?
Let's do theme, because I know I have an issue with it.
Well, that's another video, so we're gonna save that one for later.
Okay, so that's a video. Which ones don't we have videos for?
Drip of the year, Forbidden Door of the year, Guest of the year.
Well, let's go with Forbidden Door of the year, because we know what that one should be too.
All right, I think we do. All right, so this is the Forbidden Guest of the Year, Nonsensie 2022. Christian Cage, our former world champion. What are you gonna say about that, Max? What?
I'm okay with that. I mean, I like Christian coming back. I don't really know if they're selling your pin in the store if you're really part of the Forbidden Door. If another company is using TNA's theme music for you, I don't know if you're really part of the Forbidden Door. Sounds to me like you're just part of us and we're lending you out to AEW. But hey, I'm okay with that.
Anywho, the runner-up was, I think, Jay White. So either way, no, Finjuice actually. Finjuice, Jay White, and Kenny Omega, all right in there. A couple votes for Kazarian and Daniels, I believe, too. So we've had some good times with that. Let's remember the positive as we roll into 2022 with that Forbidden Door. But Christian Cage, a very deserving winner of that. And let's do one more. Let's do the Elix Skipper Spot of the Year. This is obviously named after the great Elix Skipper, whose six-sided cage walk is one of the wait, six-sided? No, it was just a four-sided cage. Right? The image.
I feel like it might have been
I
six-sided.
feel like it's right before they switched to the six. Yes, but while Max looks that up, we are going to announce the Elix Skipper Spot of the Year recipients. And
it's 100% six-sided.
Cool. Okay. It's right
Yep,
the
yep.
first. All right.
Technically, it could only be 5 sides because that's all I can see in the picture. But if there's 5, I'm assuming there's a 6th.
Well, the 2021 Nonsensie Award winner for Elix Spot of the Year is the Stage Collapse, where Big LG and Joe Doring went through the stage. And Big LG cut off his ding-a-ling or something.
That was a good one. I agree. I definitely agree with that one.
I agree with that. All right. So we got a few more, but we will wait on those. Actually, you know what? We got 4 more. It's not even numbers, so let's do one more. Let's go with Drip of the Year. Drip of the Year, obviously, is Gear of the Year. This one was close, but
there was some good gear.
Let's see, Drip of. Hard to argue. Chris Bay is the.
I agree with that.
2021.
I feel like it was between him and Trey.
That was the runner-up.
Because Trey's gear at Slammiversary was really good, but Chris Bay has some amazing gear from start to finish. So yeah.
All year round. 2021 recipient of the Nonsensie for Drip of the Year goes to Chris Bay. And we did do this last year. This is the second year that we've done this. I can't find what prestigious awards we gave out last year. I know Ethan Page got one. Bay did get one last year as well, but we'll find those and make a Hall of Fame for this this jam here. So Drip of the Year goes to him. So Max, you have the touring schedule to change subjects here.
I do.
Let me put let's get onto that. Let's get into this because I think for a lot of fans, this answers a lot of questions for us of, the things we complain about, the unknown of where it's going to be, how big's the arenas, all that jazz. Lay it on me. What are we looking at?
So this goes through April from what I can
Right.
find. So obviously January 9th is in Dallas for
Hard to Kill.
TV tapings.
Oh yeah, the day after. Excuse me.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry. So Hard to Kill is on January 8th, obviously in Dallas. TV tapings in January 9th in Dallas. Then you've got TV tapings in Fort Lauderdale, Florida for January 21st and 22nd. No Surrender on February 19th, my birthday, in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Oh,
Obviously, TV tapings the next day in New Orleans. Sacrifice is March 5th in Louisville, Kentucky. TV tapings the next day. March 18th and 19th, TV tapings in Philadelphia. I'm sure we'll hear some ECW chants there for a company that, Impact lasted longer than ECW. I don't know why. Whatever. Rebellion is on April 23rd in Poughkeepsie, New York, followed by the TV tapings the next day. And then that's where it cuts out. So they go from Dallas to Florida to Louisiana to Kentucky to Philly to New York.
yeah, man. So here, this obviously the things that stick out. One being we're traveling, as Max said, to multiple different cities, some that we haven't been to in a hot second. So that's really cool. A lot of the destinations kind of seem as though they're places that maybe allow a little more contact, or at least a little more capacity. But it seems we'll see what happens with that. And that actually goes into our 2022 thing, which I'll get to in a second. The other thing sticks out to me is that there's only one taping after each pay-per-view, right? 2 nights in each city.
Yeah, so we've got January 8th, the 9th, and then that runs till 21st, 22nd. So let's see when that would be.
So obviously you have the pay-per-view on the 8th, which would give you a show on the 12th or 13th.
So it's gonna be 2 weeks because so the show on the 8th, the taping on the 9th would take you from to the 13th and the 20th, and then you're taping on the 21st and 22nd, which is probably going to carry you the 27th. Now this will be a little bit longer because that'll carry you 27th, the 3rd, so that'll be for 4 weeks.
Wow. Okay, so all right.
Yeah, in Florida, and then you've got New Orleans on the 19th, taping on the 20th. But then once again, that's 2 weeks, and then you've got Sacrifice on the 5th, and then so you'll go 2 weeks there, and then March 6th will be 1, 2. Yeah, well, actually, yep, that'll be 2 weeks, and then Philadelphia. So 2 weeks until the Philadelphia taping, which will probably carry you the next 2 weeks until. So it's a little weird. Like it seems like it's pay-per-view taping, 2 weeks taping, 2 weeks pay-per-view, and then like a big 4-week one.
Well, you do have to remember as well. Well, yeah, that there's 1 4-week, but the good thing out of that is it looks like it's every 2 weeks or so is the average.
Yeah,
but they're also going to have plus specials. So does that include them? I know, right?
I would assume the
January,
the
February,
plus
March,
specials will probably be filmed during the 4-week tapings.
Well, because all the specials are live now. Duh. Gotcha. Okay. So that's what I'm saying is that I was confused because you were announcing the pay-per-views. They're not really pay-per-views. Some of those are plus specials. Rebellion.
Oh yeah, possibly. Yeah.
So I'm.
Oh yeah, Impact
Yeah,
Plus.
okay,
whatever,
but they're live now, so that's why they're 2 different days. Okay, that's what threw me off there. Like
yeah, so they
Christmas
seem to be
treehouse.
they're doing some 4-week stuff, but they're doing also a lot of 2-week stuff, which is good. It gives you a lot of some time to do some things. I like the way they're going. I feel like the perfect one for me is if they could eventually get to a 2-week. I think that's the best.
I mean, everyone is but 1 taping, right?
There's 2 tapings that are 4 weeks.
Okay.
But I'm talking about like permanently, like every 2, like if you could the really best would be go live and then you film next week's episode. So you have 1 live, 1 taped, 1 live, 1 taped. That to me is the ultimate best, but I like every 2 weeks. I think it makes things fresh and it doesn't force you into a situation where you have stuff taped and then somebody breaks their ankle
Right.
walking down the stairs, and now you're like, well,
Yeah.
crap. We like, what do we do now? So
Yeah, man. I'm most excited because as Lucha asked there, he said, Jeff, you going to Rebellion? That would be the goal. It's in Poughkeepsie, 3 hours away at the most. It's 2 days out of my life. That would be dope. The Pennsylvania one, if it's at Swanson and Rittner, I'd like to go back there. I haven't been to the ECW Arena in a hot second. I think 10 years. It's 11 years. Wow, holy shit.
I mean, if I go to I've been to three technically other events in Philadelphia, wrestling pay-per-views. Our Bound for Glory was there, and then obviously we went to Royal Rumble and whatever
right.
the NXT special was. So I feel like that's kind of where I should go, is to that one, just because I always go to Philadelphia for
That is
wrestling.
true. It is the hotbed, and then I get us lost in the very interesting parts of the city, and you guys skip.
Yeah, that was the first time. The second time we went for WrestleMania or for Royal Rumble is when we saw the sign for the strip club that had breakfast, and
That
that
enticed you after.
not really, because the lunch crew is usually like your C squad. I can only imagine what your breakfast crew is.
It's the Christmas episode. Do. Oh man. Speaking of the North Pole,
spread joy and cheer.
they spread something. Oh Lord. All right, guys. Before we get off the rails anymore, as I mentioned, kind of in the rumbling there of a rambling of us going back and forth. The touring schedule kind of leads to the first question of the 2022 preview that we're about to do. We will take a small break and announce AOA. We'll announce the Lucha will announce, the hardest theme. We'll come back, announce the rest of the Nonsensies, and then get into the 2022 preview. That being said, there we go. Ugh. The first question of that 2022 preview is something I want you to ponder, Max, while we play Lucha's video here and go on. And same for you guys listening live or watching live or watching later or listening later. So we have these questions. We're gonna predict the match of the year for the knockouts and the dudes. I don't know what else to call it. I hate calling it. I hate that it's knockouts and then the dudes don't have a name.
It's the men.
Okay. That just doesn't get true. Then we have craziest storyline, one headline that we think will take over Impact 2022. Top 5 men to join Impact, top 5 knockouts to join Impact, and then capacity, which is the one that I want to start with. If we are touring all of these, okay, I have it at let's if we keep up this trend, let's say that 4 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, right? That carries us for 4 months, or right, till April and beyond.
Yep.
So we have 3 more of those, which would mean if we do it exactly the same, that would be how many shows? Let's do the math on that. We'll figure it out. We'll talk about it, and then I want to know, what will the average capacity be for Impact this year? Do we think, with nothing, okay, obviously with COVID and everything going on, who knows? But if it stays the way everyone goes, people buy tickets, nothing crazy happens, what will the average capacity for Impact be this year? All right, here's Lucha with the announcement for the Nonsensie for hardest theme, and then we'll get back to Max complaining. Be right back.
Mm-hmm.
What up, y'all? It's your boy Lucha, you know what I'm saying? Here to present the Nonsensie for hardest theme song of the year. And the Nonsensie goes to, drum roll please, the Dashing One, Chris Bay, leader of the Finesse Club, fellow Diamond Villain member, you know what I'm saying? So congratulations, Chris Bay, to having the hardest theme song of the year, courtesy of your boys at the TNAIW Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling channel. You know what I'm saying? Everybody stay safe and throw one up.
Awesome. Thank you, Lucha. So let's go keep him up there. He's already up there. So let's take trip off. Let's put hardest theme. Chris Bay, 2-time Nonsensie winner this year, 1 time last year. Max, let's hear you bitch about Kenny Omega.
All right. The hardest theme and the greatest theme in Impact this year was Kenny Omega's theme, was Battle Cry. That shit slaps. I listen to it when I'm driving down the road, when I go for runs. Battle Cry is phenomenal. That should have won. Next to AJ Styles, Get Ready to Fly. Battle Cry is the greatest theme in wrestling
Max.
today. I can't. So here's my problem with this. I can't say the greatest theme in wrestling because unfortunately, or realistically, the stuff in the 80s and early 90s was the greatest themes ever. Like when Hulk Hogan's theme hits, whether you like Hulk Hogan or not, that shit gets you going, right? Tell me Hulk Hogan's theme doesn't get you going. Real American? Come on now.
It gets me where? It gets me going?
It gets you excited. Like
Yeah,
that's
to go to the bathroom.
if-
Fuck that guy.
if you remove the fact that it's Hulk
Okay,
Hogan,
fair enough.
like that's great.
No,
Shawn Michaels theme, like that's those things. They're the greatest wrestling themes ever.
Beholder.
But
Beholder.
right now, I love Battle Cry. I think it's amazing.
You brush your teeth to Battle Cry and you're forcing it upon us.
I do. When I go in the shower, I put on Battle Cry when I'm showering.
Well, with that being said,
It's just a good song.
it didn't even make the top 5. Savannah Evans
I understand.
and
Kenny Omega couldn't make our top 10 power rankings when he was a champion. There's clearly some bias against the man and his greatness.
as we always say here, we are transparent, unbiased, and pro wrestling. We love Kenny Omega, but not his best theme song. Not his best. It doesn't even beat VBD's. VBD's should have got higher up. Actually, that was in the top 5 as well. VBD's is a banger. And unfortunately, Inspiration haven't been there long enough, but I have a feeling they'll get the Nonsensie next year. So we're doing our 2022 preview is what we're about to do. But I do want to, let's get rid of all of them. Let's announce all of them. All we have left is Plus Special and Faction. Let's go with, oh my God, Max. Don't get us copyright trouble here, man.
Kenny's not going to care.
He didn't sing the fucking song, bro.
All right.
Here is the
Tony.
Faction of the year. When you see this on Twitter, it'll be hosted by the lovely Mr. Impact Craig. Unfortunately, it didn't load up.
The lovely Mr. Impact.
All right. DK pulling it out slightly over VBD. Slightly over VBD. But DK taking the Nonsensie there. What a group. I mean, we talk about it all the time with them, you know, being pre audience to now having an audience or fans in the stands there. And we didn't know if it would translate. Would their pop translate? I think Lucha and I talk about it too. Would people buy into it as much as us, the viewer at home sitting on the couch, Impact fan, bought into it? And they did, man. Decay is always over no matter what they do or where they go. So good kudos to Decay, and I feel like there's going to be more to come for them rather soon. All right, let's announce the last one, which is the Plus Special of the year. The winner. Pow! Knockouts Knockdown. I mean, how can you? Turning Point was number 2. I mean, how can you go wrong with Knockouts Knockdown? It was a monumental show. It was a dope show. Some really cool things going on there. And yes, Havoc did fit right in. Something that we said for quite some time. We love you, Impact. All right, so there are your winners. If you want to go through them one more time, for Backstage Segment of the Year, we had Swingers Palace, Santa's Little Helpers, Eddie Edwards, Hardest Theme, Chris Bay, unless you're Max. DK for Faction of the Year. Drip of the Year goes to Chris Bay as well. Christian Cage is the Forbidden Door Guest of the Year. The Grinches, a split tie there. Deanna and Moose. Rookie of the Year goes to Steve Macklin. Plus Special, as I just said, goes to Knockouts Knockdown. And the stage collapsing Big LG and Joe Doring move was the Helix Skipper Spot of the Year. Awesome, guys. Thank you to everyone who voted for that and who gives a shit. And thank you to the Impact's wrestlers that were just mentioned that gave us all that shit to talk about and excitement throughout the year. All right, let's finish this off. Capacity, Max. What do you think? We don't know, obviously, what size these facilities are. But going off it, what do you think is the safe number?
I'm gonna sit around 6 to 7,000.
As the average?
Yes.
Like every show they do is 6 to 7,000.
No. So here's what I think will happen. I think eventually they'll get into. So what I was looking at was the TED, which is where we saw. And I don't know what that holds for wrestling, but for basketball, it holds about 8,400, concerts about 9,500. I think somewhere around 7,000 for wrestling shows. I think that places like that, they can get to where where your pay-per-views, they may pick bigger arenas that can hold more. But I really do think that they can get to these arenas and start selling out. Maybe not as the average, but I think as the high points, I think they're going to pick some bigger arenas. And I think if you're smart where you go and you go to places that haven't had wrestling or Impact or wrestling at all in a while, I think you can get these things sold out, especially if you're not taping 5 episodes, 6 episodes at once. If you shorten it to where it's just 2 episodes, 2 weeks, I think you'll draw more people. So if that's the trend that they get to, I do think they're going to end up drawing more.
So final answer.
I'll shoot it to 5 to be safe, but I do think you're gonna see some bigger arenas into the 7,000 range for some of the pay-per-views and possibly some smaller, which will kind of bring it up.
I want to believe that, and I don't think you're crazy because who knows? There is no. I mean, yes, you could say, well, Tennessee tickets. Dude, when you're in the same place for so long and it's a fan base, maybe a market that you don't even have that much of a fan base, and it's more of a convenience, you don't know. There's no real parameters set. I think, as Jeeba said in there, I think it's 1.5 thousand is what I'm just saying now, because I'm taking into consideration what you're saying, which is, will at the end of the year 2022, are we going to hit some bigger ones? I think it's possible. I think if you start building markets in different cities, as it seems they're doing, talk about Fort Lauderdale. I lived there in my life. Shout out to Fort Lauderdale. We got Dallas. We got New Orleans. We got Kentucky again. Missing one. But, obviously Dallas, we already said. So look, is Hard to Kill almost sold out? Oh, I don't know. But with that being said, we're building markets. There's not going to be too many repeat customers. So I think overall it will outweigh the 600 to 800 people shows that we do in the beginning. Because I don't know the facilities, but if they're anything like what we've been renting, like in Sam's Town, maybe at the beginning of the year, maybe half of the year, it'll bring that number down. So I'm going to say 1.5, and I hope you're right. All right. Let's get into match of the year. What can you see the woman knockout match of the year being in 2022? And we have 7 minutes left, so let's not go into crazy detail, but we'll at least lay them on.
Yeah, I think we're eventually going to see, and is this if I'm assuming people coming back? I think we're going to see a Deanna versus Taya match. And I think that's going to be the match of the year.
Yeah. So for me as well, I have Taya and Deanna if the Ultimate X doesn't take it. I'm saying, it's a long year. People's taste, who knows what win the Nonsensie, right? But I'll write that down for both of us. I said Taya and Deanna as well. How about for the dudes, the men's match? What are we doing here?
I am going to say Chris Bay, Josh Alexander. At some point, I was tempted to say Alexander Moose, but I think we'll get a Chris Bay, Josh Alexander match that'll just blow the roof off the place.
Okay. I hope you're right again. My answer is Mike Bailey versus Keith Lee. Mike is obviously signed, and he'll be here. I have an inkling as I get onto new things that Mia's coming back under Mia Yim, and I'll answer the trivia question last time, which is who won championship under different names, because if she comes back no longer as Jade and she wins as Mia. But I think, as much as I crap on and nag on people who say, well, they're married to the person, they're going to come and work with their husband. I think in this case, with their personalities, and the little I know of Keith Lee and Mia, I just feel like they're a perfect fit, and they would come together, and Keith and Moose could do some magical shit. Jonah if he sticks around, and Keith could do some magic. So I'm going to say Keith Lee and Mike Bailey is where I'm going to go. That's what I'm going to say. Write these down. All right, let's keep moving on. Let's do top 5 knockouts that you think will either re-debut, will debut, whatever.
Okay. So obviously Mia Yim, Jade, whoever. I think she's there. I think Taya will be back. I'm hoping, I don't know necessarily knockouts, but we're just going to throw her in there anyway, is Maria Kanellis. I'm hoping she comes in. I would like to see Roxy actually permanently come here. I don't know what her actual plan is. And the last one I'm going to throw out, because I'm going to do this with the men too, is someone from WWE that I think could get released, that I think could be interesting. And I'm going to throw in Mandy Rose. I don't think in the ring wise, I don't think she's amazing, but watching her NXT, she's done some really good character work, like outside stuff. And I think she would be a benefit there to put with some people. I think she would be a good pick there. So
yeah, man, we're pretty close. The one thing I do want to say about your Maria pick, she's a knockout. I don't know if she'll wrestle, but the speculation, and this is why I didn't include them, Mike and Maria allegedly are on their way back to Impact, is what we're hearing. So we'll see what happens, but Hard to Kill should be interesting. With that being said, the 5 I have are Taya. I have Mia, who I love since, VCW. She was, she wasn't VCS. Where did Kenny train? SCW? I'll have to ask. Anyways, she was always cool. I have Santana Garrett, because I still think when Jordan and Rachel inevitably break up, that Rachel and her would be a really good tag team. They have similar builds, similar looks. I think they would have great chemistry. So I'm going to go with that. Or at least would sell as a package deal there. Now, the other 2 I'm going to talk about, one is going to come on an apology, because I don't want to I feel bad for Savannah Evans, or at least me saying last week that we don't have a black girl who could go, and to put it in light terms. When I thought Kira left, I love Savannah. Do not get me wrong. I just totally forgot. So Savannah's great, but with that being said, I think one of these people should be her tag team partner when eventually Tasha gets the push. Big Swole and Savannah Evans would add something to this tag team division, this Knockouts tag team division, while letting Tasha do her own thing. That would just be, they're both badass chicks, man. So I think that would be good. And the other one, Ember Moon. I think she fits in well with these drama school kids, if that makes sense.
I agree with Ember Moon. If I wasn't basing my Maria Kanellis pick off of who I want to see for the men come, it would have been Ember Moon. But I have a, I got a theme I got to go with.
Fair enough. So yeah, I think I would love to see Big Swole, who's a free agent now. Well, I think all of them are. Mia's close. Maria is technically so. But yeah, I would like to see Big Swole with Savannah. I think that's an instant tag team. Dope sell that you could sell stuff with that merch. And Ember Moon also, same thing. Taya, Mia, and Maria. You said Roxy, Mandy Rose. Amber Rose. Oh, Lord. Taya, Mia. Okay. And Maria. All right, so let's go to guys as well. We're hitting that mark. Top 5 dudes that you want to join Impact. Yes. Wait, let me close out. I'm sorry. Tasha Steelz to join Bullet Club would be dope. And yes, Tasha Steelz, Savannah Evans, and Big Swole as a stable would also be wonderful. Max, sorry.
All right, so top 5, man. Once again, I don't read who's coming. I don't look at that. So 1, obviously, is going to be Jonathan Gresham. I would love for him to be in. He's going to be wrestling there. I hope he signs. 2, I want to see the Kingdom. I want Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. 3 is my WWE one. As much as I would love to say that AJ's, well, not love to say, that AJ gets released, it's never going to happen. He's done too much. But I do think Prince Devitt could be released. He's getting older, and I think he would be amazing in Impact, especially if we're eventually going to get this Bullet Club thing. That's who, and I've talked about it for the past 2 weeks. I want the boys in Impact Wrestling, so give me Dalton. I want him in there because I just Larry D and Falabaz, the boys. I would be absolute gold.
Oh man, that's good shit. So we have Gresham, the Kingdom, Devitt, which is wonderful. Dalton, and that's 4.
Well, the Kingdom is 2 people.
Oh no, go one more. Throw one out there.
Okay. If we're going with one more, I would really like, obviously, Buddy Murphy, but I hear he might be signed. I've heard a lot that, so I'm gonna say him because he hasn't shown up yet. But
signed to who?
Impact.
Oh, right.
Somebody had said in the chat that he had been signed, but I've been preaching this man. I've been cheering this man on as the greatest wrestler in the world for the past 6 years when he was teamed up with Wesley Blake, and Jeff thought they were garbage. But
I did.
Let me get some. Let me get some.
Let's be clear here. I never thought they were garbage. I thought your enthusiasm toward them was garbage because they weren't that as good as you were saying. Did I know you?
You thought they were both. You thought they were both. What's his face?
Let's move on. Yeah, okay. Let's move on. We won't get into it.
You just thought they were both Marty Jannetty. It was a team of 2 Marty Jannettis going out there.
Never said that. All right, my top 5. I knew Buddy. I do personally think he's signed. But I have Johnny Impact coming back. I think that works. He's already back in AAA. Could he go to AEW? Yeah, but man, they got a lot of. I mean, he'd be the most in shape guy they have. I just. They got so many little white guys. I just don't know if they're gonna.
They have too many big names with. Yeah. With all the guys they just added whatever they were.
O'Reilly.
But Red Dragon they've added so many people. That roster to me is too bloated.
But what I obviously mentioned Keith Lee before. I'm gonna put Keith Lee there. I have Brian Cage, which I think is a foregone conclusion, especially with that conclusion. Excuse me, but especially since the Muscles. What was his name?
Muscles yeah, I know what you're talking.
Yeah, that's a little too on the nose. I think Johnny Impact comes back, and I would welcome that. I think he could do some shit, and I would like to see him do some shit in the X division. Start off slow, start there, because that's where he ended. He lost in his title shot against Rich Swann. Title chance, excuse me. 2 other ones. I'm gonna go Kenny King. Kenny King's my dude. If it's gonna be
I love Kenny King.
If it's All Night Express, even better because we need some tag teams. I see Bollywood Boys there. I see STP. That's awesome. EC3 and Control Your Narrative. I think they're coming. I think it makes sense. I see Cross and Scarlett there. Interesting. So we'll just keep an eye on that. But my last one is someone I think will not. That their contract will expire, and they come back home. LAX. It makes too much sense for these guys. I don't think they were treated that horribly there. They're obviously in a group that's popular or since day one, a big platform, some good matches. I'm just not about who they are there. And I don't know if they're who they're. I mean, the 2 of them are a great tag team. I think Santana on top of that would be a future heavyweight champion, at least X division. So I think they need to come home, and that would be great. So, all right, last one is craziest storyline that would possibly happen. The one
we've been talking about it forever. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but I'm going to throw it out there to put that goodwill out in the world. I want Gorillas of Destiny versus the Good Brothers.
Oh, that's Max. That's so
because if that happens, I'm gonna freak the fuck out.
Okay. Well, I went a little bit imagination Christmas treehouse. And I said Dixieland returns to take on Team Canada. That's where I went. Okay. So I already talked and preached Team Canada is going to happen, should happen, will happen. Angry Team Canada. Mike Bailey, Josh Alexander, Scott D'Amore, maybe Taya. That would be dope. So get her away from John. But who could stop him? But someone who owns some stake in the company. 5% stake to be exact. And Magnus comes, and Spud comes, and Dixie, and EC3 comes in acting like nothing happened. He's just dancing around. He's got no mustache. He's no goatees throwing that up. I'm gonna say that. Let me mark that down.
If we're going with that, I would go with AJ Styles returns to Impact.
I'll write it down.
Can you imagine if all of a sudden you just hear, like, get rid of, like,
yeah, we did, and it was Hornswoggle.
Yeah, but if it's not Hornswoggle that walks out, it's actual AJ.
I know, man. The day will come. I trust the good brothers, and I think the day
will come. I do think the day comes. My only thing with everybody getting released, AJ has done too much in WWE. They made him for them to just release him. Like, there's certain people they're not going to release because they don't want them. Like, Bryan Danielson, as great as he was, they never saw him as a star.
I think towards the end, Vince and him had an understanding of what they looked at Daniel as. I think he earned his respect. They gave him that belt, but I can see what you're saying there. The thing with AJ, yeah, are they going to release him outright? Not unless his contract is in the way of Nick Khan doing his thing. It doesn't make sense. Who knows what happens after this weird storyline with his former giant bodyguard?
I know, that was horrible.
But here's the one thing you got to think as well.
Upsetting.
AJ's getting older. Wendy and the kids are still at home. Do eventually you say, man, I don't want to do this shit no more. Not do I want to do this shit. Do I hate WWE? No, it doesn't have to end like that. It can end like him saying, hey guys, if you could, I just want to end my little last legs that I have in Impact and call it a day.
And that's a possibility. I really think he wants to eventually work at the Performance Center and just train the people there.
It doesn't mean he doesn't end there.
That's true. I want to say he was back on NXT this past weekend.
So I would love him to see come end his career here. So I wrote that down, but if they both happen, we're geniuses. With that being said, guys, this year has been fun. This year has been great. It's been expanding our platform here, which we can't thank you enough. We'll get that cheap plug in. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow us. We're up to 70 on Twitch. We're an affiliate finally. So we're doing big things. It's all because of you guys. We're about to hit 3,100 on Twitter, 250 in subs. Hey, it might seem minimal or not important to you guys, but every little thing helps us here and makes our day. And we love doing this. We love talking to you guys. That's why we're here on Christmas. We love talking to each other. And we love having a TNAIW family. Thank you guys for coming on this Christmas day, this holiday day, whatever you celebrate. Treat each other kindly. Enjoy your holidays. And we'll see you when we see you. Max?
Later, guys.
Bye, everybody. Goodbye.